Marhaba and welcome to Bahrain to Touchdown Middle East 2023. I am now joined by Sutton, founder of the Gulf Data Association, and Stijn, Managing Director for the Dutch Data Association and also Managing Director for KickStart Europe. Guys, thanks so much for talking to me. You've been extremely busy putting the whole show together, so well done. It's been quite an amazing 2 days, but I'm sure for you it was several months of preparation. Let's talk through some of the highlights of putting the show together. Not the last 2 days, not the last 48 hours, but the last 6-8 months of work that went behind doors. So who wants to go first on learning curves and highlights? And
if I can make the first comment, I think the crazy thing, I don't know if Stijn, if you agree with this or not, but the kind of drive of Touchdown didn't even start 8 months ago, really, did it? Stijn and I have known each other for a very, very long time, and I followed all of the fantastic things that he's done in Europe and in Holland, and all of that, benefit he's created for all his members, but also for all his markets. And so it was a very natural conversation to come and ask him about how to do it here. Yeah. And then as we got talking, it was kind of obvious that we should be doing this together.
No, and vice versa. If you look at the market dynamics here and how things are moving in really hyper speed, we thought this is such an interesting market, but we cannot do it alone, and we have to partner. And who best to partner with an association which is really in the region seen as the organization that combines everybody. And I think it was a really good decision, and we are here. It's unbelievable still. We have to pinch each other. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I think there's even an even more important subtle message as well around cooperation between associations, because you brought now EMEA together under two associations. And I mean, in Europe we have associations right, left and center. There's a lot of them now, but there isn't seem to be a lot of cooperation between them. Would you like to see that more of that going forwards, like not just even within YouTube, but bring more associations in, grow that collaboration with other brands, and also within yourselves, like expand that collaboration?
Well, I think that this event is also, I think, a start of something, an official start. And what you see here is you see the authority coming here, you see the industry coming here. It's run by the industry for the industry, but this is also a way to connect closer to each other. There's a lot of things going on. They have to be go to the next level, and you can only do it by yourself, and then you have to meet each other first, and that's what's happening here.
I think to your point, yes, I think I was very, very keen to make sure there was some form of connection to Stijn and to Europe. The Gulf region is still in that emerging growth phase as a market, let alone as a region, and who better to be connected to than Europe and FLAP-D and all of those massive markets that have had massive success. And we started having a lot of our partners coming through who are European companies, Europe-based, looking to expand out their services, and it was crazy not to connect the dots. So we're keen to do that.
Before we get into the market dynamics and the trends and the actual topics, what's been the big lesson curve for you coming from the Netherlands doing an event in Bahrain?
Well, it's different, of course, and things that we do in the Netherlands cannot copied here straight away. You have to adjust with how you do business, how people work here. But overall, I think we are now looking back at a very successful event. Of course, there can be things better, but it's the first event, and I'm really amazed how many people showed up, and that it looks as great as it looks.
Well, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's a long-term kind of thing. So,
exactly.
All right, so topics-wise then, what's been a big highlights in terms of program views and things that people shared here? What's like a data point, a trend, something that you, and especially you, because you're based here, you know a lot about the region. What's been a big surprise in terms of themes and topics and data?
I think for me it's twofold. One is actually watching people who have visited from outside of the region starting to learn, perhaps challenge some of the stereotypes that they thought the region and markets would be like. That's been really rewarding to see. I feel like people are kind of get back on the plane, go back to Europe and actually say, well, actually it's very friendly, very easy, and not as, challenge those perceptions. I think it was really important for me. But also if I look inside the region, I think one of the biggest successes of Touchdown is actually bringing the entire Gulf together. For the first time we have got people from every single Gulf country coming in specifically to talk about data centers. And I think people are learning from each other. There's a great sense of energy here at the moment and buzz. You can clearly see that companies are about to grow and expand. You can clearly see there's a lot of business to be done. I think everybody's enjoying that opportunity and energy that's in the area.
No, and I really like the sessions where all the regions talked about what is going on there, what is happening with sea cable landing, what is happening with data center development, edge development, hyperscale development, how things are going, and how everybody in this region also has a real clear vision that you have to digitize, you have to have very good digital infrastructure. So that's for me amazing, especially coming from a very heavy regulated European market now, that this region is actually having a long-term goal and is really pushing to have this accomplished sooner rather than later. So that's really interesting and mind-blowing, to be honest, and the world needs to see this.
Can the Middle East overtake Europe in the next few years or decades?
Well, I think that this region is a very interesting region because it's right between Asia, Europe, it's India and Africa, so it's right in the middle. So I think with the possibilities that are given here, with the vision that they have, this can be really the gateway and a new center of power in terms of also the digitalization.
I was going to ask about investment trends. I don't know if you want to add to that as well, but you can also add some investment trends.
Before, if I could, I agree with Stijn. I think, look, this region is wanting to learn from the rest of the world, but it's also going to move forward and deliver with a slight twist of its own way. And I think what we're definitely keen to do is we're definitely keen to grow as fast as possible. We're definitely keen to get on the global stage. And I think Stijn's right. I think we have a really good opportunity actually to give back globally as well from this region. Yeah, I think the Middle East is on a path to grow and really give back to the globe, and I think there are opportunities here. I think we can be innovative, and I think we can be a major digital hub.
Okay, and then when we look at into trends, especially investment trends, how do you see the region evolving the next 2 to 5 years on the back of everything that's been said here? And with a bit of a twist on the power side as well, because that's been a big surprise for me, is the renewable energy that's going on in the Middle East.
Sure, look, I think there's a couple of things that are very interesting. I think many people in industry may not know that the majority of the sovereign wealth funds here in the Gulf have been invested into all of the major global operators for many years. And I think that the change on the investment side is that they're now asking those operators to come into the region. We're now seeing that there's enough demand from both hyperscale, enterprise and other customer requirements to really grow up that region. So next 2 to 5 years, I'm expecting boom in this region, and I'm expecting huge growth because we are starting from quite a small base. So that's very important. On the power side, it's quite interesting as well because we actually have a very, very young regional grid. So we've got good infrastructure, it's very redundant, it's very high quality, but critically it's incredibly low cost. So the Gulf region has a swing from a whole from about $3 cents to about 14, 15 US cents per kilowatt. And that is incredibly low cost from grid. So it does mean that we've been slower to come up with sustainable solutions for our data centers. But we also reside in a very sunny region, and the obvious solutions around solar are coming through for sure. I think that investment's going to start happening over the next year or two. We've just had COP28 in Dubai. We are really becoming conscious of sustainability and renewable power generation. So I think the only way is up.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's been some talks that the Middle East could become the next Nordics in terms of power availability. How do you feel about that?
If you look at the demand, that is really staggering. What we see in the global market, what we have seen in our home Dutch market, in European markets, is that the demand for cloud, the demand for AI is accelerating constantly. And if you see how AI is evolving, the infrastructure needed for that, and also the power will be massive. And if you see now also the energy transition going on in Europe at full blown, and how the grid is really slow in picking up, how the regulation is also not helping that. This region can solve, I think, a lot of things for the AI world, for the cloud world, to land the investments here in this region.
And then so, going back, because we can now be talking about regulations for a long time, because it's a tremendous topic, and I think this side of the world is kind of shaping up to get some good examples out there on how to do things. I mean, Saudi 2030 as well. Those kind of programs, digital programs, are quite interesting, which Europe doesn't really have. Like, we don't really look at things in that long term. It's always 2 to 5 years.
If you have a goal, you have a clear path where you want to go, aim to for, where you want your country to be good in, and so that makes it much easier for everybody, for the industry, for the government, for also the local people as stakeholders, and then you can make much more easy regulation, because you want to achieve that goal, and regulation needs to help to achieve that goal. And so I think that this is really a fundamentally good thing to grow this type of industry here.
Very interesting. And then speaking of regulation, I mean, so GDCA, what are you guys working on in terms of helping shape that conversation in the region, and what's going to be the focus for next year?
I think it's a great question. Look, the Gulf Data Center Association has been very young. It's still a very young organisation. We've just had our first birthday, and what's been interesting for us is that year one was a learning year. It was a learning year with the industry. It was a learning year as an association, and it was also an information gathering year. We've now done over 15 events across the Gulf. We've spoken to every operator. We've spoken to every telco. We've spoken to every government. And that's allowed us to get a clear understanding of pinch points in each market, and also come up with a strategy for next year. So I think for us, 2024 is going to have a couple of key areas that we want to focus on. Regulation is important to us. So I think we're being asked more and more by regulators in the region to consult on that. And the way that we want to do that is with the industry. We want to have an open door, workshops with everybody to make sure that we are encouraging business activity and not hampering it. I think standards is also a really important point for us. Young region, we're still learning how to build things, operate things, price things, run things. So standards is something that we're looking at helping introduce across the region in multiple facets. Sustainability we've talked about with renewables, but that's also critical. Customers globally are expecting renewable and sustainable solutions that we don't really offer here at the moment. So we want to be encouraging that across our membership as much as possible. And then finally, it's a bit of a buzzword, but it's the truth. It's artificial intelligence. How does that work?
So I was like, we're going to get away.
It is always going to come in for sure. We are getting asked more and more. We live in a region that has very, very high technology adoption, that is encouraged to use technology as much as possible. Multiple Gulf states have cloud-first policies. The average person in the Gulf has 2 mobile phones. We basically consume a huge amount of content. So AI is going to be well adopted here in most facets of life, and we're looking forward to it. So it's preparing the industry for that wave as it comes in.
And of course, you operate within an industry that has gone through that journey. So what advice have you got to give Henry?
Well, I think that you have to just take it step by step. It's already huge that within a year we can sit here, be interviewed by you in a large event. It's unbelievable how Henry and his team have worked hard to create what they have created so far. So I think if you are still going with that pace, you will achieve the goals that you have set. But I think that to have focus on a couple of well-defined, limited areas, then you can be successful. You don't want to do everything in the first year. You want to have real focus, and what I've seen, they have it. So I have all the confidence that they grow in a very stable way.
Yeah, we've seen some examples in Europe, so you're doing good. You're doing good. It's going well. Before we talk about Touchdown 2024, your next big gig is going to be Amsterdam, so KickStart.
Yep.
Talk us through what are you taking from here to Amsterdam?
Well, I think what we have done here in Touchdown is sort of like help, of course, with the same kind of concept, and that worked really well. We also brought a trade mission to Bahrain. We visited Saudi. We did a lot of site visits, which was really interesting, and also opening doors for the European markets, European players to learn about this market, the GCC markets. We're going to do the same for KickStart. So we're going to have, together with Henry, an incoming mission to Amsterdam to also show them the tier 1 market of Amsterdam, also maybe a neighboring country, but to really create the bridge between Europe and the Middle East. And of course, KickStart, after 7 years, it's growing now, I think, close to 1,700 people. We are constantly improving step by step. We still have the step-by-step approach. More focus on investment, more focus on sustainability, a really European approach, and we're very much looking forward. So far, at this moment, we're almost sold out already, which is a record.
A long time to go.
Yeah, we still have a long time to go. So we are also, it's a luxury problem, but that also shows that we're still on the good path. But we're taking step by step, and we're improving every year a couple of things, and hope to welcome also now the Middle East towards Amsterdam, and next year we will do the same again here. So this will be a year-to-year continuous working relationship.
That's the most important thing, is the adaptation to the market as well, and changing things around. Is not setting on a business model and just copy and pasting everything every year for 5 years, which then will just disappear, or at least lose the importance. About KickStart, that's 20th of February, 21st, 22nd?
27 and 26th of February.
27, 26.
So we have the welcoming evening, and the day after we have the conference day. So and we'll do that the same year, again, and that works.
Saunds good. And then of course Touchdown. I mean, so the GDCA still has a few more events before Touchdown next year. So you got one still this year, I believe, in Saudi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I must say though, after Touchdown 2023, I may cancel that because I'm so tired. I was not expecting. It's been a learning curve at the start, so Touchdown has definitely taken a good swing out of me. But yes, we are obviously still going to be running GDCA's smaller, free networking events that we do right across the Gulf. These could be taking place in a hotel lobby, they could take place in a coffee shop. We're still really keen to encourage the market to interact and bring everybody together. And then hopefully we can welcome everybody to one place again in Bahrain next year.
I was going to ask.
Exact dates, no, but late November, the last week of November, so the same week that we're here, will be the time where we're going to do it.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we can't wait to see how the next 12 months are going to go, and then we can't wait to be back and see next year's edition, because I'm sure it's going to be bigger and better. And bigger and better doesn't mean more people, just means the right people with the right agenda. So I think that'll be very exciting. So Henry, Stijn, thank you so much for talking to me. As for your home, thank you for watching, and do check our website and give us a follow on social media for more news from the digital infrastructure sector worldwide. At the Tech Capital, you lead, we report. Bye for now.